nagbibigay ng ATM sa wife. Oh, good. Like, kumbaga hindi pa na-withdrawal yung pera sa like the whole month salary sa wife? See, Sir Alvier, I wanted to know kasi attorney Fam is a good friend of mine. Sige, confirm ko to kay attorney Fam. Okay, so sa babae naman, do you get all the financial support needed to run the household? Do we? No? Okay. So, again, economic abuse is expressly covered. Now, along the case, let's say, sa TPO, nag-file kayo ng temporary protection order. As I've mentioned, you can request for spousal support and child support. Salary can be garnished. Yung order ng court that will be served on your employers, and the employers will have to comply with the TPO or with the PPO or with whatever the court orders the abuser to do. Hindi pwede mag-say no si employer kasi again, that's contempt. Pag contempt, again, yung reputation ng company or ng agency will be affected. So they have nothing to do but comply with the order. Okay? Next. Okay, number 6, we're still together so I can't file. Kasi may mga misconceptions dito na hindi na makapag-file because they're currently dating the boyfriend, they're currently dating same-sex relationship, or they would say, I'm still married to this guy, I can't file. That's wrong, okay? Because the core of this law is the abuse itself. Hindi kailangan na still married or still dating, even ex-partners, women can still file VAWC. Okay? Ano yung mga scenario? For example, na-break na si boyfriend-girlfriend. And then si boyfriend hindi makapag-move on. Let's say, blast chat, text pa rin sa Facebook or sa Instagram. Or let's say, pumupunta pa rin sa bahay kahit ayaw na ng babae. That happens. So, that's already covered because although hindi na sila dating, they can still file because they're being harassed. They're being coerced to, let's say, get back to the relationship because of this harassment, stalking, etc. Now, my question, when I was in law school, there was a question sa professor ko. Sabi na, attorney, what about one-night stand? Is that covered with VAWC? Kasi may iba, one-night stand, and then nabuntis yung babae. Just one night, nabuntis yung babae. Tapos hinaharas ng ka-one-night stand yung babae. Is that covered by these laws? Is it covered under VAWC? Yes, correct. Yes. Because our law again says it's all about dating or sexual relationship even at one night, one instant. So yun yung kaibahan ng VAWC sa other laws because it has something to do with the relationship. Okay? Marital relationship, dating relationship, former relationship, or even the sexual relationship. Kasi meron yung mga, FUBU. Are you familiar with that term? Sino yung si engineer? May narinig ako. May nag-mention, sorry, may nag-mention. Sensitive yung ears. Pag may nag-mention na, si engineer, sino yun? Maraming engineer. How many engineers? Tatanungin ko lahat ng engineers dito. Bakit engineers lang? How about the other men pala? Engineers lang pala yung engineer lang pala yung nag-fubu-fubu. Sorry. I'm just joking. Really engineer. Kasi Doc, he doesn't understand what fubu, someone can enlighten us all.
Yung mga engineer kasi namin hindi naman. Baka hindi na alam yan. Hindi na alam po.
Millennials lang, okay. Millennial ako eh.
Kasi si attorney, millennials attorney.
Millennials. Okay, no, millennials.
Mga seniors na kami.
Kayo,
Juniors.
juniors, okay. Alright. Okay, FUBU stands for fucking buddies. Yung sabi ko na one night stand. Yeah. Pero alam niyo na yun. Nakikita niyo yung nababasa niyo. Sino kasi yung engineer na yan nagtuturo? Tatlong engineer. Oh, okay.
Galing talaga mo engineer.
Oo, di ba? Bakit engineer lang? I've heard some stories also Facebook. Oh, bakit ganito yung... Sorry, joke. I'm just joking. Okay. Again, let's clarify that. Although you're no longer in that relationship, let's say may annulment na ano na ng court, nag-grant na yung annulment, for example. Or let's say, break na kayo, you can still file, that's still covered under VAWC. Next slide. Kaya pa ba sa oras? You still have time?
Hanggang 11 pa actually.
11. Okay, it's already 10. Marami ba to? 20 something. Sabi kasi sa akin 3 hours or half day.
2 hours.
2 hours. So, sige. Tapos may nagsabi kasi sa akin na pahirapan mo sila attorney ko, sige. Alright. Maybe I'm the problem. Okay? Maybe I'm the problem. Sa babae, isali natin yung mga millennials.
Palaging tama yan sila.
Palaging tama. And do you agree na women are always right?
Lalaki talaga yan, lalaki na lumali.
It's very nice na you're very supportive of women. And, di ba? Maganda yan na ano. It's very good to hear that all women of SPDA, all men of SPDA are very supportive of women's rights.
Respect and love yan, ma'am. Respect and love.
Respect and love. And yan din sa sa Sharia. Sharia law. Sa MSU, meron kaming Sharia law. I have several, tawag nito, units sa MSU. May MSU ones ba dito? Ay, good. Ako, good. MSU ones din ako, but sa Jansan, Marawi Extension. Kasi malayo yung Marawi sa amin, di ba? But sa amin, sa JD program, we can't finish the JD program pag hindi namin napasa yung Sharia law. Sharia is very difficult. As it is very difficult, lalo na yung succession. And I have so much respect for Sharia counselors because ang hirap ng Sharia ipasa. Yung professors namin is from Marawi, I don't know if you still know him, Dr. Muslim? Muslim?
Yung dating president.
Yes, the dating president. He's a very, very good man. And when he passed, we were very, very sad. Like our school mourned for his death. And so he was my teacher sa isang Sharia. Another Sharia naman si Dr. Ali Anshari. I don't know if you know him. Yes? I mean, siya yung nagturo sa succession sa Sharia. Ang hirap I'm not good in math, pero grabe. Ang hirap ipasa ng Sharia. And again, going back, kasi dun sa Sharia law, nandun yung pag-care sa mga bata at mga babae. Okay? Like the men will provide and men will have to, let's say, take the women inside the household if walang mag-aaruga. Yun yung reason bakit may multiple women or multiple wives. Tama ba?
Yes.
Okay. Pero may mga kasi non-Muslim na they will use the Islamic like beliefs. They will convert and then they will marry multiple wives. Diba? And that's wrong. That's wrong. Which is, kumbaga, timely lang kasi last week, I have a friend, she's a Muslim. Yung asawa niya, Muslim din. And then, sabi niya sa akin, attorney, pumunta ako sa VAWC desk ng PNP. There was abuse. Right? There was abusive, ganitong ganyan. Sabi daw sa kanya ng PNP desk doon sa kanila, I will not mention the place, but doon sa southern part, hindi daw pwede kasi Muslim naman daw. And I was so livid. Like, what? No, even foreigners can, still under our laws, RBC and our like special criminal laws, they're still covered. How much more if you are, let's say, legit Filipino men and women? Sabi niya, hindi daw kasi ganito ganyan. So ginamit ng police yung yung pagiging Muslim niya, which is wrong. I was not really happy when I've heard that. Sabi ko, no, that's wrong. Go to your lawyer or go to PAW, seek help, because that is incorrect. You cannot use your religion or your religious conviction to curb or to go 360 with our laws. And sabi niya, hindi daw kasi pwede daw mag-asawa ganito-ganito. Nag-convert si ganito-ganito. Bawal yan. And again, we have bigamy for those non-Muslim. Okay? But I will leave that to our Sharia counselor. But I just wanted to mention that, again, yung mga babae at mga bata, they've been cared for even before the 2004 as our speaker earlier has mentioned. Ikaw mo ba yun, Doc? Or isa?
Si Bibo Timothy.
Oh, siya. Okay, sorry. Okay, so sila. Okay. So that was what I'm trying to say. Okay, next slide, please. He apologized. Ito na yung sabi ko na battered woman syndrome. So the cycle of violence that's embedded again through BWS. So sabi niya, he apologized pero may black eye na si wife or may pasa-pasa na si anak. So that's again covered by VAWC. Although someone apologizes, that does not erase liability. And when I say liability, that's criminal liability. Aside from criminal liability, there's also civil liability. Okay? The remedies for women and children, they're not, hindi siya exclusive. Hindi siya exclusive. They can file for criminal action, they can file for civil damages. When civil damages, they can seek for monetary award. Dalawa. Kasi sa ibang criminal action, you can always file as one altogether. But in VAWC, you can file separately. So you can get something from criminal action, you can get something from the civil action. Damages means money. Okay? Damages means money. Alright. Okay. Next section. He only hurts me when he's stressed. Sino bang... okay. Yung trabaho ba is, in general, stressful? Yes, okay. Now, may mga situation wherein the wives or the girlfriends, they feel, let's say, or they act, let's say, beyond what's average or normal for women. Sino naka-experience ito ng nagging sa girlfriend and wives? Yung iproprovoke yung lalaki. Diba? Napoprovoke yung lalaki, so sasabihin na I'm stressed, and then because of that stress, the resulting effect would be abuse. Okay? But again, it's a matter of, psyche ng tao. What the law protects is the women, are the women and children, and the focus is the abuse. Okay? Hindi tinitingnan ng law kung ano yung rason bakit na suntok si babae or bakit na kumbaga napatay si babae. No. Okay? It doesn't look for the pre-abuse. It's looking at this abuse. So let's be very careful. Next. As I mentioned, there's no abuse, it doesn't count, but that's wrong because we have psychological harm, we have sexual harm, and then we have economic harm. So this is more of this psychological, economic abuse, mga bruises. Kasi yung mga barangay captain, they will say, wala namang pasa, so that's fine. Like, wala namang pasa, so we have no way to ascertain if you're telling the truth. Pero sabi ng VAWC, there's no need for medical certificate if you go to BPO. If you go for BPO sa barangay. Why? Because your testimony alone, women, your testimony alone is already valid. Okay? It holds weight. Alright? If you would go to barangay, you report an abuse, you don't need a medical, legal document, you don't need, let's say, other witnesses. Kasi there's a stigma na baka pag-usapan ng community, and that's why women hesitate to go to the barangay, go to the police because of that stigma. Yes, sir.
So, with regards to that, ma'am, so ano naman ang protection ng mga lalaki? Gumagawa na ng store? Sige, go.
Okay. As I mentioned, men can file cases under RPC. We have libel, we have harassment, and many more. RPC is a very strong protection for men. Okay? Kasi, there was a case na hindi ko in-accept because I was so busy. Pero ito yung story. Minor na lalaki. Sabi ng girlfriend, ex-girlfriend na, she was raped. And that kid, yung bata, yung lalaki, he was jailed, detained. But base sa investigation ko, kasi I referred to PAW kasi it was in Davao, ibang lugar, mahirapan yung parents. I asked, anong nangyari talaga? Was there rape? Was there no consent? Because that's it. Pag rape, consent agad eh. Consented. Ang gusto kasi ng babae is pakasalan siya or sila pa rin because masyadong obsessed na yung girl. Masyadong attached, kumbaga. Hindi nakagraduate yung lalaki. Kumbaga hindi kasi kasagsagaran ng graduation. Okay? So, gusto ng parents na temporary release, yes, para makapunta dun sa school graduation. But unfortunately, kasi hindi nila finalo yung instruction or direction or guidance, hindi si lalaki nakapag sa graduation, naka-attend na graduation ceremony. Because, again, of that wrongful accusation. And it's very sad. Kasi bata eh. Diba? Minor. And then, malaki-laki pa yung future niya. Kasi okay din, magaling. Very smart and all that. Helpful sa parents, etc. Pero yung babae lang, sabi, ni-rape daw siya.
18 na siya, 18. Yung babae.
Minor also. Minor also.
Mm-hmm.
So, they try to mediate. Kasi sometimes it can be resolved. Kasi pag ganung mga bagay, may kasi tayo sa law na pag pakasalan, pwede na ng rapist. Ganun. But it's a very gray area sa law. I will not discuss that further. It's very technical. But let's go back to that protection for men. Ano naman sa lalaki? You have RPC, Revised Penal Code. There are many. Let's say, yung reputation nyo tainted. Let's say you have you hold this office, and your office is tied with your reputation. Like we all are. Even the rank and file, and even the job order employees, and then the supervisor level, and then the management level, all our position in life and at work, they're tied to our reputation. Okay? Label natin yan sa natin, when we go out, or even inside at home. So, ano yung protection if your reputation is being tainted with libelous statements? You have RPC. You go for libel, you go for slander, okay? Kasi wala yung siyang gender-based, walang gender-based restriction. Okay, you can file that against women. You can go for unjust fixation. If may mga physical injuries, go for physical injuries, like grave, serious physical injuries. You can go for Revised Penal Code. But again, as I mentioned, pag regular criminal action, that takes time because you have to file to prosecutor, there will be investigation, let's say inquest ba, or the regular process, etc. But you have your laws you have your laws that you can always go to. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? How about women? Do we have any questions? Okay.
Go, Beverly. Go.
About sa bully po, what if yung girl na bully to girl din?
Are they in dating relationship?
Ano?
Okay, VAWC does not apply. Okay? Pag lesbian relationship, since you asked, pag lesbian relationship, either dating, currently dating, or formerly dating, VAWC applies. Okay? VAWC applies because the victim is a woman. The offender can be any gender. Okay? The offender can be any gender, but the victim should be always a woman or a child. That's it. Let's say, babae sa babae ng bully. Anong gagawin ng victim? File for VAWC, regardless of the gender. Now, what if bullying? Can I ask a question? Is that within the workplace or outside the workplace? Oh, sa school. Minor or emancipated? Minors. Oh, pag sa workplace doon, pakulong na agad. Sino yung HR natin dito? Oh, si Ma'am Min. Okay. I'm pretty sure SPDA has a very strong, sturdy HR tools and resources, correct? Have you received any reports from employees about, let's say, mga harassment?
So far.
Oh, bago pa daw si Ma'am Min, sa extended si Ma'am Min. Okay. But, wala. Okay. Of course, mababait ang SPDA, that's right. But going back to that question, when it comes to minor children having bullying concerns, okay, you go to the principal first, okay? You have your principal, they have, kasi yung school, guidance counselor, they have their own process, okay? They have their own admin, let's say, admin process, administrative kasi yan eh. Before you go to the courts, meron kasi yung exhaustion of administrative remedies. You cannot always jump to courts. You have your administrative remedies, you have to exhaust that. Tapos, may investigation sa school. If hindi ma-resolve, then go to DepEd. Again, there's administrative procedures done. You cannot jump. Okay, because the court will just dismiss your action because you have not satisfied the condition, which is exhaustion of administrative remedies. So my answer would be, coordinate with the principal and guidance counselor. They have their own internal rules there. Okay? And then, again, i-keep nyo na lang yung resibo. Kasi, ipapa-reimburse natin yan sa parents, if ever. I would say, go for psychological counseling therapy outside the school, tapos pa-reimburse mo sa parents, yung parents ng bully. That's why I always advise to my clients. Punta ka sa clinic, head to toe check up mo, like comprehensive check up, kasi malay mo, physical and, there are physical harm already on the kid. Then reimburse. Okay, are we clear on that, ma'am? Okay na? Okay, let's move on. I'll just go briefly then. Yes. Sir, yes. Anong question?
Actually, ma'am, ito, consensus to question po.
Okay.
Is this applicable to those transgender? Kasi po,
Oh, that's a very good question. Okay.
siyempre, emotional women sila, di ba? Transgender na.
Okay. Okay, there's a question. Does this law apply to transgender women? Okay. My take on that is no. Why? Again, sa birth certificate nila, ano nakalagay sa gender nila? Male. Okay. And yung sa... hindi pa na-update ang law. And I really agree with not updating the law when it comes to transgender. Because again, by physiological, factors and means and their body makeup, they're still men. Diba?
May malaki ko na patay.
Sabi ni Sir, consensus na questionable. So, how many ask? Oh, there are, let's say, I'm sorry for the word, but there are gays who respect women and they still go to the male restroom. There are some na they thought they're already women just because they changed their body organs. But your surgery does not change your, again, birth certificate and your natural, as a male, yung physiological makeup ninyo, or physical, natural, biological makeup ninyo, you're still a man. Okay? So it does not apply. Yes, question?
It's not a question, it's just a parang observation.
Yes.
Like you said when on the bullying.
Kasi I was attending a seminar parang given by some psychologists in school. Ang napansin ko lang for bullying in school, it sometimes relate to itong topic natin about VAWC. There are some experiences na naging bully yung bata because of what's happening
Inside the house. Correct.
So sometimes nakikita niya na yun nga, battered yung
Yung mother.
So nakikita niya yun, so parang ginagawa din niya sa school yun.
Right,
Including
right.
classmates. So parang to reinforce siguro aside from the seminar on VAWC, baka there's also a need to conduct some seminars on some psychology or what, para siguro kung sino yung battered or sino yung affected members can also be counseled on what's how she should handle stress or these kinds of not only on knowing what is your right, but also on the psychological aspect.
Okay.
So yun lang siguro.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I wanted to point out, VAWC has support services. Okay? Once a woman reports violence, there are support services. May counseling dyan. Okay? And the reason the women don't get those support services, kasi hindi nagre-report. How will the government agencies or the DSWD, the NGOs, empowered by VAWC to help women if there are no reports, if there are no consensus? And that is why we're trying to educate women that these are your rights, these are the abuses, these are the forms of abuse. If you think you fit the description, report. And the barangay or the DSWD will assist you and your kids. You can go to a shelter if you think no one can help you hide. You can go for counseling, that's for free. And that's VAWC. Okay? We have support services empowered by VAWC because this law and the IRR, that's very comprehensive. Not just the PNP desk, not just the barangay, but also NBI, DILG, and so on. So many agencies are working together to protect women and children. Why? Because the barangay will submit a report to the NBI, PNP, DILG, and the other reportorial requirements and agencies. That's under this law. And support services, the SWD, is primarily mandated by this law to give support to women who are ousted from home, or children, or let's say, battered na, so like yung psyche niya very, let's say, disturbed na masyado. Pati yung mga bata. Kasi, ang rason, bakit nagre-report yung barangay? Kasi ganito kasi nangyayari. Si barangay captain sasabihin na mag-absuelto na lang. Or, yung offender will not follow the barangay protection order. That happens a lot. So, what will you do? The barangay captain will file a case against the offender. Not the woman, not the child, but the barangay captain. And after filing, then that's already contempt. And that's the process, okay? Bakit may reportorials, may support services, Again, it boils down to knowing what is your right, what is abuse, and what is not, and then report. That's why we need to know what is this law is about. Okay? Thank you. Alright. But I agree na yung, sabi ko nga kanina, if the mother will not stop the violence at home by reporting or by knowing her rights, again, mapapasa yan sa mga bata. And the child will soon to grow old, will have his or her own family, it will be a toxic household. It's a domino effect. And that is why we need to understand what you can do in your level. Okay? Next, please. Okay, he didn't hit me, he just shouted. Again, that's psychological violence. That's just another misconception. We already discussed that as well. Next, he was drunk. I know we don't drink, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. Anong klaseng drinks mo ganyan?
Soft drinks, ladies.
Soft drinks. Ladies drink. Non-alcoholic ladies drink. Okay.
Diba, Sir Doc? Soft drinks?
Soft drinks. Oh. Okay. Sige, sabi dito, in general, he was just drunk. But intoxication, again, intoxication is not a defense by the offender. Although drunk, intoxicated, and let's say the husband, punched his wife, punched his kids, covered. Women can report, okay? Women are protected. Next. I'll be homeless, it's his house, so it's another form of economic abuse and psychological abuse. Okay? It's an emotional trap. Kasi yung iba, women, historically, women are homemakers. Homemakers, not home wreckers, okay? Pag may mga home wreckers, that's a different story. But women are homemakers. And because of that historical facts, I would say, some men will use that to control women. Again, if there's intimidation, coercion, that's abuse. There's control, let me qualify control. Control is abuse if it's already, it already exceeds what's acceptable, what's moral, and what is dignified. Again, women's dignity should be preserved. Stability ng mga kids should be preserved. That's the core of VAWC. Next, please. I can't complain, he pays for everything. So, sabi ni Sir, may balato nila lahat ng ATM. How about women? What will you do if your husband or your boyfriend pays for everything? And then you can't go anywhere because you don't have money. So again, you go to the barangay. Tapos sasabihin niya na, ay, nakakahiya, baka ipagsabihan ko ni barangay captain, kagawad, secretary, whoever, etc. sa barangay. What will you do? There's confidentiality rule ng VAWC. If someone divulges your information, that's liability, criminal liability at some point. You can report to the ILG if si kagawad or si barangay captain or anyone deputized by the barangay captain violates confidentiality. Another thing that you wanted to know about this is, paano ako makafile ng case wala akong pera? We have VAW. And what's important is we have IBP legal aid. Free lang po yun. Okay? IBP Davao, we have, I want to say, we have many seasoned lawyers who do pro bono, especially with our new changes, I would say, recent changes in Supreme Court, wherein attorneys are, let's say, lawyers are required to do pro bono under ULAS system. So, women without means, they can always go for IBP or PAL. Okay? Another, what else? I can't, sorry. Oh yeah, let's go continue. Okay, 15. I don't want to ruin his name. Okay. I want to say this, I want to emphasize this, safety overrides reputation. Kasi another form of abuse din yung psychologically, parang gusto mo maging protector ng asawa mo or boyfriend mo kasi may reputation siya na kailangan niyang i-secure. Alright? Again, it's a public crime. So if you, let's say, you're so afraid to, let's say, report, you can ask your parents, sisters, or brothers, or your friend to report. And it's confidential. All the information are redacted. They're not being reproduced or shared to anybody. So yung mga babae, they don't feel safe in reporting because, again, this is a public crime and we have a very strong confidentiality rule under VAWC. Okay, next please. Okay, I provoke him. Again, provocation by a woman is not recognized. Self-blame is a form of psychological symptoms, psychologically, say disturbed na yung babae. It's a symptom of abuse. So when you say, okay, I provoke him, so it's just justified that he yelled at me, or he punched me, or he hurt my kids. That is not an excuse. That's not a justification. Okay? Next. Okay, sinong silosa? Here.
Lahat yan, ma'am.
Lahat? Lahat, okay. It's human nature, I think.
Walang jealousy, walang love eh.
Sorry, yes?
Pag walang jealousy, walang love.
Walang jealousy. Do you agree? Pag walang jealousy, walang love.
Kaya lang meron extreme jealousy which is bad.
Okay, very good. That's correct. There's what we call what is acceptable, reasonable, and what's not already. So when do you think jealousy will be, let's say, already covered by VAWC? Ano yung mga acts of jealousy that's already VAWC? Possessive jealousy. Example. Yes. Oh, based on movies, yes. Microphone. Based on movies, yes, that's right. That's a good start.
Paano nga sa in-term yun na yun sa part ng lalaki. Ano yung part?
Oh, I'm not really familiar with that. Ano yun?
In-term yan mga in-term para.
Naging possessive na? Or territorial?
Oo.
Oh.
Wala.
Pag nagsaselos ka, this will be the, tanongin natin yung women. Okay, at women at the back and here. When your partner is jealous, what are those manifestations na, nagsaselos siya?
Laging tumitingin sa cellphone.
Oh, checking your phones. Okay, women checking phones. One. What else?
Saka minsan maalat yung mga niluluto.
Oh, so that's based on experience.
Tapos sa paghiga pa, palagi talikod.
Oh, nakatalikod. I don't think those are from movies. I don't think those are from
Personal experience.
based on personal, that's correct. Personal experience. Okay.
Madaling magalit.
Madaling magalit. Okay, nagger.
Solid silence.
Oh, silent treatment. Okay.
Mami, yung bago daw ngayon, naka-CCTV.
Naka-CCTV.
Ibig sabihin, online sila dalawa.
Walang imik.
Oh, okay. Yung sa silent treatment, that's actually a personally, silent treatment is both, kumbaga, sa babaeng lalaki, di ba? It's a psychological warfare, I would say. Si babae, they will do some silent treatment, and then yung lalaki cannot communicate clearly what he wants. Okay? Bottom line, it's just a communication. Kasi yung mga nullity of marriage cases, more on understanding each other. Yung babae nagsa-silent treatment, yung lalaki hindi naman sinasabi yung ano talaga gusto niya. Okay? Because sabi ng mga psychologists, men has this different way of communicating. That's why yung mga lalaki magkakaintindihan pagdating sa babae na iba na kasi the girl tends to overthink or overanalyze. Some, okay? Based on what I've heard, based on what I've read. But going back, sabi ni Sir, that's correct. I agree, I totally agree. May, may range tayo na pwede to. Okay to. That's reasonable. It's within the moral grounds. This is good. This is okay. Ano yung hindi okay? If you've been monitoring your wife's phone 24/7, checking her friends, checking her, let's say, relationships like her family, nag-share na ba ng passwords ninyo sa phone and social media? Mga ganon bagay.
Hindi, anti-privacy.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. May kaso yan. Yung si Doktora so-and-so. Yung ginamit niya as evidence. But the Supreme Court said that it's a violation of privacy, even though you're married. That's a good point. But I was just sharing, or what I'm trying to say here is, what is jealousy na covered na by VAWC? Kasi yung iba, sabi, huwag mong kausapin yung lalaki na yan kasi feeling ko may gusto siya sa'yo. So that's already isolation. But, if it's just generic na, wag, okay, ganito, ganyan, that's fine. But what if, kumbaga, extreme na mga actions ng mga lalaki. Bawal ka makipag-usap sa kahit sinong lalaki. That's already VAWC. What else? Who has any idea? Extreme jealousy.
Extreme jealousy from the wife or from?
From the husband.
From the husband.
Kasalanan talaga ng husband.
I think the husband will restrict the movement or communication of his wife.
Exactly. You isolate the personal relationship or friendly relationship, kahit platonic relationship with other men or even with a family. Okay? Kasi yung jealousy not just with towards men, it could also be with the family ng babae kasi nagsiselos na. So, that's extreme jealousy is already covered by VAWC or under VAWC already. Monitoring, surveillance, may mga spy. Okay, next please. We're not married. Okay, this is something I've already discussed earlier. Okay, dating, currently dating, formerly dating, married, they share common children, pwede. Okay, as long as, again, my sexual and dating relationship covered. Although, hindi na kayo kasal or kasado kayo, the woman can always file for a VAWC. Next. We already broke up. Again, this is for the boyfriend, girlfriend relationship. Again, abuse after breakup still fall under VAWC or RA 9262. Next. I have no evidence. Okay. What the law says is that the testimony of a woman, of the victim, actually, okay, that's already accepted. But for practical application, practical use, I want to say, keep the screenshots or photos, okay, or messages, reports are valid. If you have witnesses, you can use them. You can ask them to prep or write an affidavit under oath. You can use that. That's very useful. And then, again, barangay can help. I want to say if there's a threat, just a single act of threat or a single act of, let's say, physical harm or all the abuses that we have discussed earlier, ito yung sinasabi ko practical siya in a sense na may record. Okay? And if it's already recorded, then you can use that. Building your case. Blotter, barangay reports. And then the orders from the court. Okay? 21. I can't afford a lawyer. As I mentioned, we have PAO. We can assist the PAO, and then we have the IBP legal aid. 22. So 21, we have NGOs as well. 22, I don't want the barangay to know. Again, confidentiality is mandatory. Kasi ang feeling, Sa tingin ko, yung mga babae hindi nagre-report because of the stigma, because of fear, because of humiliation, because of marites. Sa community, sa family, okay, sa barangay mismo. Oy, sabi ni Kapitan, ganito, nakita ko si ganito, ganyan. Okay? That's wrong. Okay? We have confidentiality rule under the VAWC and even the IRR. Anyone who divulges information will be liable. And, of course, may mga karagpatang penalty yon. It could be either damages or imprisonment. Depende sa case by case. 23, I think this will be the last. I'm afraid the barangay will side with him. Okay. Barangay must act immediately if there's a genuine harm or report from the victim. On the same day, the barangay will issue a BPO. The barangay captain should serve the BPO to the offender. Kasi bakit? May moral ascendancy si barangay captain. Okay? Barangay captain can deputize anyone, but yung best case scenario is the barangay captain will serve the BPO personally, okay? Because in person yung service natin to the offender. And then they can escort the victim to get her things, or the kids, for example, depende kung anong nakalagay sa BPO. But usually, barangay is not allowed to rule on custody matters. That's a court, that's a judicial determination. But the BPO, that's immediate remedy. Okay? So, si barangay, hindi pwede sabihin ni barangay captain na bukas na kasi it's already 4:59. Hindi pwede yun. Or, magbati na lang kayo. Anyway, always naman kayo nag-aaway, tapos tomorrow magbabati na lang kayo. No, we don't wait for that situation na nag-aagaw buhay na yung babae or yung bata. That's what BPO is for. Immediate remedy. And that's valid for 15 days, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, now, the barangay will not side with the offender. Next. Okay, macro realities. We have gender inequality persists. Of course, we have, na-discuss ito kanina, we have the disparity when it comes to psychological, biological makeup natin. And that's one of the realities that we're still fighting and we're still trying to fill the gaps or trying to connect the disconnects. Second is the cultural silence and expectations. Women are expected to carry the household. Women are expected to be submissive. Submission is okay. Kasi may mga dynamics tayo sa relationship. But there's a certain point na submission is no longer okay. It's already tantamount for, kasi magta-take advantage na yung partner. Third is economic dependence, patriarchal norms. I think we already touched those earlier. And underreporting. Pag wala na report, the barangay will never know na may issue pala sa bahay. Next slide. Okay, micro-realities. This is happening inside a home, or all of them, or just one of them, okay? Women calculate safety daily. My client has been walking in eggshells for 18 years. Yung shinare ko kanina. She's been walking on eggshells 18 years. Kasi nga, one single take, nagagalit yung lalaki. One single take lang. Sinasabihan siya na, bobo ka, and ano pa yung sinasabi sa kanya? Palamunin, wala kang silbi. Those are the words. And I have them recorded because those are, yes, very abusive. Yes.
Meron lang case, mabaliktarin mo kaya yung situation. Microphone. Usually, karamihan ngayon ang employee babae. Ang generation ngayon.
House husbands.
Nababaliktad na ngayon eh. Nababaliktad. Pag sinabi ng babae, palamunin ka lang, ano yung Paano lalaki naman?
RBC, yes.
RBC.
Ano?
I would say RPC. Ang tanong ko, si house husband, is he offended? Is he threatened? Is he in imminent
Pero
danger?
case yun, ma'am eh. Pero halimbawa, sobrang pagmamahal niya sa babae, hindi lang sila magsasalita. Sobrang stress niya kasi hindi siya nakakita ng trabaho. Baka
May sinabi si ma'am, magsalita daw, communicate at the end. At the end of the day, communicate, sabi ni ma'am. Okay. Yun yung question. Sorry. Ito yung explanation ko dyan.
Umayos ka, baka ikaw babaliktad mamaya.
Okay. When it comes to your safety, tatanungin mo yan. Am I still safe at home? Yes or no?
Babae, lalaki.
Yung lalaki, kasi lalaki na yung situation, binaliktad natin. Okay. Baliktad din natin. So yung lalaki, mag self-reflect siya, okay? Am I still safe at home?
Tama yan, ma'am. Kasi maraming asawang babae ngayon.
Oo.
Umawag ng 45.
Oh. Kasi, sa history ng mga babae, they were being abused. So women, as part of that empowerment, they try to learn how to be strong and equipped, correct? I like that. I don't agree with this, like, sabi nila na strong, independent women. Strong ka, yes. Independent, qualify mo yan. It should be, again, hindi na siya, kumbaga, hindi na siya, kasi yung mga lalaki, like, all of us, we have this dignity that the laws are trying to protect. Okay? Doon tayo mag-revolve kasi. Am I still safe? Am I in imminent danger? Will this verbal abuse likely to cause me physical harm, sexual harm, verbal and everything? Pero yung VAWC kasi is for women and children. Yung sa inyo, RBC. Okay? We still don't have that law for men. We still don't have that law. During sa law school, there was a discussion, bakit walang sa panlalaki na, kumbaga, counterpart ng VAWC. Sabi ng Supreme Court and my professor, men can always go for RBC. Okay? Men can always go for RBC. Another one, men are expected to be this type of person in the relationship. Kasi nga, we are patriarchal in nature. Okay? Asian countries. Okay? Patriarchal tayo. And our laws are being framed according to the needs, okay, of our community, of our country, of all the constituents. And at the same time, it's evolving. So who knows, in the future, we will have an equivalent, perhaps. But for now, you can always go for RBC. I want to say, the safest would be RBC. But if it's too much, kasi may mga buttered husband, buttered boyfriend, okay? Or, I don't know if there's sexually exploited men, okay? You can go for RBC. There's a sexual assault provisions. The offender could be a woman or man, okay? Or economic abuse. Tanong mo agad, okay, is this act already equivalent to economic abuse? Kasi yung economic abuse, it's all about control, okay? It's not economic abuse person na hindi ka binigyan ng pera, like, kumbaga hindi ka na binigyan ng amount or spousal support na hinihingi mo. No. What the court is trying to say, or what the law is trying to say is, this control, okay, you only use money as a means, tools lang yan. Pero yung result niyan is control, intimidation, coercion for person to get what he wants gamit yung pera. May kaso kasi na yung wife, okay, let's go back to the, VAWC. Yung wife nag-file ng spousal and child support. Ganitong amount. I forgot the case, but ganitong amount. And then, sabi ng Supreme Court, no, that's not VAWC. Just because you file for economic abuse doesn't automatically say it's VAWC already. Kasi ganito yun. Did the man use his money to control you to do this? Are you being threatened? Are you being in imminent danger? No. the man can only provide this amount. So if the man can provide this amount, not your requested amount, that's not VAWC. Did the man control you? Did the man intimidate you? Did the man coerce you to be this? May psychological impact ba? May anguish na ba doon? Pag wala, then not VAWC. That is why I want to say VAWC is fair. Okay, let me just explain this. VAWC is fair in a way na immediate remedy ni babae is BPO, 15 days. Now, si babae can file for TPO, Temporary Protection Order, sa court. But, yung TPO, although ex parte, again, it will be issued the same day na nag-file si babae, we will have the permanent protection order. You can ask for custody, support, etc. Pero, may pero doon, may hearing na nangyayari. May evidentiary hearing. So, the man can file his counterclaim or his response. You can always respond, ganito yung nangyayari. In reality, this is not VAWC. It's not automatic na bibigyan lahat si woman ng reliefs requested. Okay? There's still due process, I wanna say. My questions is, sorry guys.
Hello. This is a situational question.
Okay. Situation or personal? Sorry, joke lang.
Situational.
Okay, situational.
I just wanted to know if it is actionable or not, or if it is under VAWC law or other related laws.
Okay.
The situation is, kung sinabi ko, pero I have no intention to hurt anybody or my wife or anybody else. And the situation goes like this. Sabihin ko, assuming sa asawa ko, noon bago tayo kinasal, chubby ang look ko sa'yo, chubby ka. Pero ngayon, 3 na ang anak natin, ang taba-taba mo na. Tapos mukhang kang kabayo na ngayon. Is that actionable or covered under VAWC law or other related laws?
Okay, before I answer that, tanungin natin sila. Okay, what will be your initial reaction, ma'am? Yes. Microphone! Si ma'am, isa pa ba?
Babawatsik mo yun. May tanong pa ako, pending pa, wala pa, hindi pa.
Okay.
Sige ma'am, tanongin mo.
Ano, is that a follow-up question or a related question?
Other question.
Oh, a separate question. Okay. 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 Ganito ha. We should be able to discern which is walang
intent.
Yes, intention or let's say harm. Kasi again, VAWC is always about harm. Okay? And section 3, sabi natin any act. Okay, any act or series of act resulting to or likely to cause physical harm, physical harm, psychological harm, economic harm, and sexual harm. So, for example, we're just talking like kumbaga yung typical conversation yun ng mag-asawa or typical conversation yun ng mag-boyfriend girlfriend. I mean, it's not always actionable kasi na okay, ang taba-tabo nang baka gusto mo namang mabakayat. Okay? Kasi sa mga babae, ganito yun. Okay, before I continue my discussion, let me just give, let's say, similar premise. Sa criminal case, may ganito, papatayin kita. Tapos namatay yung lalaki na sinabihan ng papatayin kita. That person who told this, let's say, that person na papatayin kita, is he criminally liable na? No. It's not, okay, generic lang. He will not be criminally liable. Oo. Or let's say sabihin na because this is typical law school discussion na, oh, may nagbabanta. Because sometimes, words are, let's say, in that scenario, words have been spoken out of, ano lang, not really passion because there's a technical, naman dun, mga technical, tayo dyan. Kumbaga, out of nowhere lang. It's normal, this conversation, na gusto ko siyang patayin, ganyan. Gusto ko siyang saksakin, ganyan. Hindi siya criminal liable.
Suspect lang, ma'am.
Again, if you're a suspect, there's another prerequisite in that one. Okay, it has, kaya nga may prosecutorial process tayo. There's an investigation. It's not automatic. Okay? You could be a person of interest, but you're not a suspect. And again, we have Bill of Rights. That can be applicable in that scenario. But going back to the question, sir, I want to say that's not actionable if it's a conversation that is, let's say, during the usual mag-asawa na pag-uusap. But if you were saying that, ang taba-taba na, blah, 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 and then, in a way na parang, iba na, diba? It's, hindi na siya biro, hindi na siya within this realm of natural, usual conversation na mag-asawa, then we can qualify that as psychological harm. I don't know if I was so clear, but there's this boundary na ito yung tama and hindi tama. Just like jealousy. Jealousy could fall within VAWC if it's too much, if it's not acceptable. But when you say, parang joke lang, taba-taba mo na, ganito, ganyan. So, and the barangay captain, or let's say the officials are, I want to say, trained. I mean, of course, there should be seminars, but they're trained to ascertain if the woman reporting is really in genuine, imminent danger. Okay? Again, yung mga psychological harm, that's not within the barangay level, it's court level. Because there's an evidence that need to present that. Ang sa BPO kasi more on immediate harm, threats, physical harm, sexual harm. Okay? Other than that, court. So, kung yung usual yun ng communication na taba-taba mo na, baka gusto mo papayag.
Body shaming po yun, ma'am.
Body shaming is, again, I don't want to go into specifics, but if, again, okay, I just want to be very clear. If the woman is in imminent danger, in harm already, there's, let's say, already psychological conditioning, then that's abuse.
That
falls
situation, ma'am,
bound.
assuming nasabi yun sa mga...
One time, big time, or...
nasabi
Okay,
sa mga-
that's a good question. If the woman has been humiliated, that fall within VAWC. Napahiya siya. I mean, you can tell your wife after the event or already nasama na kayo. But again, ang sabi ko, it's a matter of how you communicate. It's a matter of how, ganito na kasi yan. Your communication shows or reflect how you respect the other person. You can tell the wife na you have concerns sa kanyang weight, but in a way that's no longer, in a way that's not disrespectful. It's always about the dignity of the woman, of your wife. It's always about the harm being inflicted by those words. And that is why we have verbal abuse, because